Alright, so I've gotten into this discussion a few times with a few people, and it seems like we're both saying the same thing, yet the other person doesn't agree with me, and it confuses me. I'm no scientist, I'm no doctor, I'm no anatomist, is that a word? So I don't know the names, the technical names of all the muscles, the different heads, the brachialis, and I don't know that stuff, okay? But I know that with your triceps, has an S, muscle, there are 3 heads. With your biceps muscle, there are 2 heads. I think you can see why. So there's a difference between making the muscle grow and making it larger. And again, this is where it gets weird, so bear with me, because I'm going to use the word shaping, but I'm going to come back to this. I guess we could use sculpting, you know, as the oak like to call it, sculpting the body. That's what bodybuilders do. It all begins with genetics, okay? So genetically, and I'm going to try and explain this, all right? All right, with your bicep, depending on how long your bicep is, where it connects here is going to determine what that peak, when you flex it, what sort of a peak you're going to have, okay? There's nothing that any of us lifting weights can do that will change the final, I'm trying to word this right, somebody's just going to say bro science, and I get it, but there's nothing that we can do to change those genetics, to change what the muscle is ultimately going to look like, okay? What you're changing is how big it's going to be and what heads you're working, okay? If, with your triceps, you have 3 heads, okay? So if you do nothing but cable flat bar pull downs, okay, and that's all you do, then you're going to get a certain shape. It's going to grow a certain way as the muscle gets larger, but because you're not hitting each of the 3 heads, you're not, I guess the good word is the supination, and that we'll get into that in a minute too, but there's 3 different heads to that muscle. So there are ways to you're not just going to be able to target just one of the heads. You can't, because it's part of the triceps. And I get that. You're always going to be working all 3. An easier way to describe this, I guess, is if you're doing the leg press. Okay? And this started an argument like 2 months ago or whatever. Somebody asked a question, does it make a difference if you change how your feet are placed and your toes are pointed when you're doing leg press? And of course it makes a difference. When you're pointed in, you're going to work the outer portions of your legs more. It's more of an emphasis on the outer portions of your legs, the outer muscles. If you point them out, it's going to be more of an emphasis on those inner muscles. You're still working the whole of the quad. That's what you're doing, and the glutes and whatever else, I get that. But you're putting more of an emphasis on, okay? It's the same thing with your biceps. It's the same thing with your triceps, okay? I'm going to see if this will work. Alright, so if I'm just doing a bicep curl, okay, and that's all I do, alright? Now I want you to see the difference if I take my hand and I take my pinkies and I point them out. Do you see that? Yeah, I've got a lot of fat on me, but I hope you can see what's happening there. All right? That's that stress, that supination that I'm putting on it. Okay? I love the Easy Bar, all right, because it doesn't give me that. I can lift a lot more with the Easy Bar and with dumbbells. Okay? But what I do also is I do a set with dumbbells lighter, and I come up, and as I come up, I twist out. And even with the fat on me, you can still see that, what that's doing there, okay? It's putting a different emphasis on it, all right? That's supination. Something I do when I do triceps, is I keep my thumbs on top when I can, okay? If I'm doing flat bar, push downs, my thumbs are on top, and I think that helps with one of the heads as well. And I also think it takes away from, the reason why I do it, I'm no scientist, is because I think it takes away from the grip, you know, that grip and pulling it, and I don't know, you can't even see it, I don't know how to get on the camera, but when I'm gripping, you know, I'm flexing all of this, but if my hand's on top, it's just a lever, okay? And that's what you want. If your hand's on top, if your thumb is on top, it's just a lever for that push down. Okay, so all of the action is in the tricep. When I can grip that bar like that, I can use so much more than just that lever action of pushing it down, because that's all you want. And I don't even break 90 coming back up, because I want the stress on it the entire time. I go from 90 down and up, and I make sure I look at myself in the mirror. Same thing with tricep kickbacks and skull crushers, and I guess there's ones that I do go further than 90, like overhead single arm dumbbells and stuff like that for triceps. But I think that people need to stop calling it bro science when you're trying to put more of an emphasis on one part of a muscle, one head of a muscle, because it's not bro science. Yes, I get it's all about genetics, and I can't change the ultimate shape of the muscle. I get that, unless I get plastic surgery or some shit, okay? But I can help it appear different by working on different parts of the muscle. There are different heads. It's not one fucking muscle. Okay, yes, genetics plays a huge role in how much of a peak I can get. Okay, but if I just do standing barbell curls, you know, a compound movement, I'm not working every part of that muscle. I'm not emphasizing the workout to every part of that muscle as well as I could be. That's why when you're doing, for me personally, I do push-pull. So I do biceps and triceps together, okay? And I alternate. I do a biceps exercise, and then I do a triceps exercise, and I do a biceps, and I do a triceps. And I probably do maybe 3 to 5 different exercises of about 3 sets each time I work them, and that'd be twice a week. But I don't do the same shit each time. There's so many exercises you can do. I stick to the basics. You know, for biceps, I'm going to do standing dumbbell curls. For triceps, I'm going to do straight bar pull downs. Those are the compound. They're not compound movements, but in my mind, that's what I think of them as for those muscles. Those are the mass builders, I guess is the proper way to put it. Okay, those are going to build the mass. They're going to work the main head of each one of those muscles. And then I go from there. And then I'll change up what the accessory style exercises will be. If you're not interested in what your muscles look like and you're just interested in strength, well then who cares? If you just want to be a power lifter, well then who cares? If you just want to be lean and cut, well then who cares? And I get that. But calling what bodybuilders have been doing forever, since the inception of bodybuilding. Bro science is insane. I don't care what degree you have. I don't care that you're a sports nutritionist, you're a personal trainer. Don't get me started on fucking personal trainers. I don't give a shit. You're working different parts of the muscles to give them better size in different areas of the same muscle. If I just work upper chest, I just do incline chest, and that's it, then my lower chest is going to be underdeveloped in proportion to it. And that's where it comes down to genetics. There's some dudes that don't work on the supination for biceps because their genetics gives them that fucking peak. They just have it. You know, some dudes just have the fucking calves. I hate them. You know, so there's some people with some muscles that they don't want them to get any bigger because in a bodybuilder's physique, you want the symmetry. So if they have something that genetically they're kick-ass at, they might not work it hard at all because just from compound movements, those muscles will look like what they want them to look like. Whereas somebody else has to do something, it's another muscle for them. So they have to concentrate on all the different heads for said muscle. So I don't know if that was fucking confusing or not. Hopefully you understood. But if there's any questions, please ask. Please ask away, and I'll try to explain, because I know that sometimes I don't explain the best. But I figured maybe a video would be a little bit better than just trying to type. So, there you go.